Raider Nation, welcome back, baby. Raider Dave here at GrimeCast, straight out of Southern California, the IE, the Inland Empire, baby. The sun's shining. We got 93-degree weather. Everybody's got the grill going. The beers are cold. We're in full effect, man, and we're excited. We got football one freaking week away. Yeah, dude, it's time. It's time, man. The tailgate's right around the corner, man, so I'm excited for Las Vegas. I'm excited for Raider Nation. Who's feeling it? Let's get into it, man. So, with all the hype, I mean, whether it be positive hype, negative hype, most of the positive hype, let's be real, it comes from us fans, man. We're always hopeful, man. We're hoping for a great season, right? So I'm just going to put this out there because you got ESPN analysts with their opinions. Some of them think this is a 6-win team. Some of us fans think this is a 10-plus win team. But let's look at it like this, man. I would rather see this team play bad and win than see this team play good and lose. And I'm just going to keep it at that because how many times have we seen like, oh, the Raiders, man, they played so great and then only to lose by a point or to lose a game. I don't care if we're the team on the other end. If we're winning games 9-6 and it's a game of field goals, I know it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but I'll take a win, baby. Just get me in the playoffs. Get this team in the playoffs, man. Give me something to brag about. And let's shut up the haters for good, man, because right now, if you look at it from a national media standpoint, this Raider team is on the decline. And I disagree with that to a certain degree because the Raiders have improved the defense. However, are they on the right foot? Yes, they are on the right foot, man. Bringing in a guy like Gus Bradley, guy who's familiar with John Gruden, bringing in veterans, man. The recent signing of KJ Wright, that's a huge signing for this team, man. That guy's playing good football as we speak, so he's going to be a good contribution to this team. A guy like Denzel Perryman, who's familiar with Gus Bradley and familiar with the AFC West and taking on that leadership role as the quarterback of the defense, so they say, coming out of the organization. I mean, guys like Casey Hayward, man, Gerald McCoy, you got Yannick Ngakoue, man, who's going to be on the edge there, facing his former team on Monday night. So, you know, a lot of key defensive moves, man, but we really want to see our draft picks, man, our draft picks develop, you know. I'm going to say it, man, Clelin Ferrell, man, you know, they reached on that pick, man. Number 4 overall, you just can't have that. So we need to see that guy develop into something, or at least maybe in year 4, maybe in that contract year, just get to that elite level. I don't know if we're going to get complete number 4 value ever out of that guy, but we'll see. We'll see, man. I'm not here to be a negative Nancy about it, but I'm here to be, you know, just tell you how I've been feeling all off season, man. You know, it's a very busy year for me, man. I really want to get on here, and I really want to talk Raider football, but, you know, I don't want to hype up guys like David Irving, who was being hyped up this offseason. I mean, here we are, man, week 1, you're seeing the roster, the 53-man roster is pretty much set. You're seeing some moves that are going to take place in the coming weeks. However, you know, you're seeing that they had to go out and get a guy like Gerald McCoy, man, for leadership reasons, veteran presence, a guy that's going to push guys around him, man. And so anyway, and I'm a little bummed about the Maurice Hurst. The fact that we didn't really, I mean, you know, if you were to talk to me this offseason before they made that move and cut him, you know, I thought Maurice Hurst was set for a big year this year, but, you know, I'll put that aside, man. That's old news. So, anyway, what I want to talk about, you know, is, you know, I just, you know, gave you a little take on the defense, but I really want to talk about Derek Carr, man, and that this is his 8th season, man. This is where we're at. Derek's played solid football, man. I know a lot of people like, oh, man, you know, like they go by the stats, like, you know, putting him in categories with the top 5. We can't really do that statistically. We need to do that once we get in the win column, man. Our quarterback needs to lead us to more wins. This is the prime season to do that, man, with the defensive additions. You know, you got a number 1 wide receiver, a 12th overall pick in Henry Ruggs. We got to get that guy 8 targets a game. We got to use his talent. He's not just a downfield wide receiver. He's not just a deep threat. Henry Ruggs is a good route runner. Let's be real, man. He is a good route runner. He can cut. He can, you know, he can run those curl routes, man. He can cut to the outside. He can cut to the inside. You know, he can run a good post. You know, So I'm really interested to see if they get him more targets, if he becomes more of a primary target for Derek Carr, and getting us over the top, man. Because the offense is pretty solid. The biggest question mark is going to be the loss of Rodney Hudson at the center position and Gabe Jackson. You know, I know some people are like, oh, they'll be fine, and maybe they will be fine. But you know what? Losing those 2 guys is going to be tough. And that's why I'm putting more weight in Derek Carr's shoulders with this discussion that we're having right now, man. I mean, he's heading into his 8th season. It's now is the time. Now is the time. After 7 seasons, man, we got to give him a ton of credit. His stats, he really shows up in the stat category. Of course, what I want to see from Derek, and I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I want to see 35 touchdowns, man. I want to see the guy crack into 35 to 38 touchdowns. That puts you in a more of an elite level if you're asking me. Because, every time we're like, oh, man, Derek's got these great numbers. But, let's get some touchdowns, man. Guys like Aaron Rodgers that are throwing, 40-plus touchdowns. Tom Brady throwing 40-plus touchdowns. And that's where I want to see Derek accelerate, not only in the win column, getting this team more wins. He is great. He has a great comeback resume on his, as far as comeback victories go. He has looking great on his resume. He's a great 2-minute up-tempo offense quarterback. I think that hurry-up offense really helps Derek accelerate. But, to be fair to Derek, man, he's only missed 3 games, only to serious injury, broken leg, broke his back, had some vertebrae broken in his back, back in 2017. So, that's where I'm at right now with Derek Carr, man, is I want to see more touchdowns, more wins. The efficiency's always been good. Derek's been good at, having a low interception rate. However, the fumbles in the pocket's always going to be an issue. We're always going to be like, hey, we want to see Derek Carr use more of his legs. He is a pure pocket passer to a certain degree. He does like to stand in the pocket and throw the ball deep downfield. We want to see actually more deep balls as well, like we did last year. They did get their points per game up. Once again, one thing we do have to factor in with last year, though, a lot of people jump on that. As a lot of teams, is points per game went up. There was no fans in the stands, man. So there's no, crowd element means something, man. It has a lot to do with momentum, has a lot to do with pressure. If you ask me, I think crowd element, especially at the professional level, it's a big deal, man. So I really want to see how they make that transition with crowd, with how loud it's going to be in that stadium. We're 1 week away from Monday night, man. That stadium's going to be freaking loud. There's going to be pressure. But once again, we want our team to feed off of that. So, but yeah, man, I just wanted to say that Derek Carr, he could have his best season sitting right in front of him. And I'll just leave it at that. You give me your thoughts on that, man. Do you think that this year could be Derek Carr's best season in front of him? News and notes, man. I'm just going to get into some news and notes. I kind of modified them up a little bit, man. I got news, and then I got my notes on this, man, and you give me your take and what you think about it. But Tanner Muse, 3rd-round pick, that's a high-value pick. He was waived today, man, and apparently on his birthday. But, if he doesn't clear waivers, man, then this team can't claim him back. He won't be on the practice squad, so we'll have to remain to see if a team picks him up. Stay tuned for that. But, I'm sure this guy could have had a role for sure on special teams. I thought with his speed alone, that creates a lot of upside. But one positive spin on this could be a sign that Malcolm Kuntz, who they drafted, could be on the rise. So, it remains to be seen, but we'll see how this shakes out. So, another news and notes, the former 2017 5th-round pick Markel Lee, man, linebacker. I like Markel Lee, man. Signed on the practice squad. They had to cut linebacker Max Richardson to make room. But I like this move. Markel Lee can play. This is my take on this. And Markel Lee can play. And with vets in the building like KJ Wright, Denzel Perryman to work with, I like the fact that they brought him back, man. So, so stay tuned with that. I just like how they're adding depth. I've always been a big fan of guys that were drafted in the later rounds. I know with Reggie McKenzie, I'm a big fan of Reggie McKenzie, by the way. I thought he did a solid job. I know a lot of people were hard on him and the 2nd-round busts and all that. But, Reggie McKenzie was solid, man, as a general manager. And I did appreciate, what he did for this team. And I know a lot of people like to knock him, but, you want to come after me for that one, it's all good. But with that said, I'm a big fan of Markel Lee. I'm a big fan of Nicholas Morrow. And you're even seeing the development of Nicholas Morrow, that he was a starter on this defense before he was injured, and now they've brought in veteran linebackers to as necessary, during that injury. So, another news, they signed Peyton Barber, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer and Washington football team running back. He was on the Washington football team practice squad, but after he played 1 season with them last year, he's more of a bruising back, but he's on the 53-man roster, man. They claimed him off the Washington football team practice squad, so therefore he is on the roster. And not only that, He's 5'11", 225, so he should get some looks in those short yardage situations. But once again, you got Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake. I think those guys are going to get the bulk. You guys already know that. But, I think Barber, you might see him in some situational play. And you never know when you need a running back. Committee of backs is what we need. But and I know they were trying to get Royce Freeman. Who was claimed by the Baltimore Ravens, and we're going to face them in 7 days. And they had a absolutely horrible injury with J.K. Dobbins, man. I thought J.K. Dobbins was set to have a huge year. So, they got Royce Freeman now claimed as a Raven. Here's the big news. Here's the one I like. This was a few days ago. David Moore, man, the wide receiver from the former Seattle Seahawk. Clutch player, man. This dude stepped up in big games, man. Russell Wilson could depend on him. The Raiders claimed David Moore a couple days ago off the practice, signed him onto their practice squad after he was cut by the Carolina Panthers, and once he cleared waivers and all that. I think David Moore, you're going to see him elevated to the roster, if not very soon. This guy is serviceable, man. He's played in 47 NFL games. He played in all 16 games in 2018, and he played in all 16 games in 2020. And his last season, last year, he was targeted 47 times, 35 catches, 6 touchdowns. He was targeted more than Henry Ruggs. I think Henry Ruggs was targeted under 25 times. That's why we got to get Ruggs more looks. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble. But check this out. 35 catches, 6 touchdowns. He can return punts, so therefore he can contribute on special teams. Factor in his size, his speed. He was the guy that Russell Wilson, in my opinion, because I remember, from a fantasy football standpoint, I actually did pick up David Moore a couple times because Russell Wilson would look for this guy as a trusted target in the red zone. And once again, I see this guy taking a roster spot. I think he's going to fill in for John Brown's role. Another surprise cut. I didn't see John Brown, I knew he was going to make the team. I remember I was watching some content, man. Some people were like, I don't think John Brown's going to make the team based on what they saw in preseason. I thought John Brown had a very serviceable role and was bummed. I was bummed, dude, when he asked for his release. I'm like, I was looking forward to that guy, man. I like speedster. I like smoke. I like fast wide receiver. I'm a Raider fan, dude. So, I like that stuff, man. But anyway, I thought the Raiders did a great job in bringing in a guy like David Moore. And once again, my personal opinion, I think he should make the team. So, but I'm going to close this podcast out very shortly. I'm just going to shake out some takes here, some key factors for this season. I think one of the biggest offseason moves for the Raiders would be Gus Bradley. The fact that he's bringing in guys and his voice is being heard in the front office. They are getting him his guys, unlike Gunther. Next key phase, dude, as far as success for this team is the fact that Greg Olsen is going to be Derek Carr's coordinator for 4 straight seasons under John Gruden. I know he was with him early on with Dennis Allen and all that, but I'm talking about Greg Olsen in his 4th straight year as the offensive coordinator. I know Gruden runs the show. We'll get into Gruden in a hot second here, but I think Greg Olsen, that chemistry, the continuity, I think that's going to pay off somewhat big for Derek Carr this year, and that's why I had Derek Carr as a key X factor as far as this team succeeding, because he is the quarterback, and the fact that Greg Olsen there, that chemistry, the continuity, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be clutch, man. So I'm banking on that. If this team's going to be a playoff team, I'm banking on that. I'll leave that at that. Now, my last, I'm going to touch on John Gruden, man. John Gruden, he oversees everything. We know that. That is fact. John Gruden oversees everything. John Gruden's got some work to do because John Gruden, in his first 3 seasons as the Raiders coach, he's 19-29. 19 wins, 29 losses. And as it was brought up earlier, we got to get wins, man. It's time for this team to win. He's going into his 4th season now. I'm sure you guys saw the stats. I'm sure you guys pay attention and everything. But once again, John Gruden, 19-29 in his first 3 seasons. Jack Del Rio, you know who he succeeded? 25-23 in his first 3 seasons. So we need this ship to start sailing in the win column. And the reason why I brought up John Gruden's first 3 seasons as a coach versus Jack Del Rio, and I know we're thinking long-term, we're thinking a 10-year run with John Gruden because that's what he signed for, but we got to look at it like this. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. That's why we're measuring it, because we want to improve it. So it's time to improve in the win column for John Gruden. And it steers that ship right to the old quote. There are no bad students, only bad teachers. Leadership is everything, especially at this level. At any professional level, you need the ultimate leadership. We know John Gruden has it. 4 straight years. He's going to be his 4th straight season with the same quarterback, 4th straight season with the same offensive coordinator. It's time to make some noise in the NFL, and I mean real noise. 2016 noise. Anyway, man, hope you guys are having a good one. We'll be back Friday, new show coming. We're going to do the preview of the Baltimore Ravens matchup. With that said, dialed in, the upcoming season, the Grimey Raider is out.